Okay, this is part three of my personal spiritual journey. And so we're talking about DNA test results and how I looked into Irish and Scottish culture to kind of connect to my own ancestors and to fulfill that need to find my own culture. Okay, so that's one thing that I was doing in my late teens, early 20s as an adult, living on my own, trying to figure out what foods to cook, what traditions to start for myself, that I would eventually bring into a family that I knew I was going to end up starting years down the line. On top of that, I was drawn to things like yoga and eating organic and healthy eating, which then led me to how to heal my body with food, how to boost my immune system, what vitamins and minerals I needed for certain things. Eventually, I got into essential oils. I started looking into that and natural alternatives. Now, the reason being, um, number one, throughout my teens, I suffered with anxiety and migraines, and things like Tylenol, Excedrin, Motrin would give me really bad stomach aches, and things like NyQuil. When I was sick, I would take NyQuil, and it would do the opposite. It would make me very awake and give me panic attacks. When I moved to South Korea, I did suffer with anxiety, and I did end up going to a behavioral counselor or therapist or whatever he was. And he obviously, as we all know, just wanted to prescribe me things. Me being a very young adult and naive, I took those things, and they would keep me awake. Even though they were supposed to help me sleep, they would keep me awake and they would give me panic attacks instead of taking them away. Or they just wouldn't work. And later on, years and years later, I found out that I actually had PTSD. But those medications just weren't working for me. They weren't doing what I needed them to do. And I was just like, well, what's the point in taking medications and trying new medications? None of them are working, and I know that they're damaging my body, my liver, things like that. So I started looking into natural remedies in order to help with things like anxiety or whatever ailment I had at the time. And so I got into essential oils, organic foods, eventually herbal remedies and things like that. And I was very drawn to the natural healing process and how to heal yourself with food and herbs and essential oils and eventually crystals later down the road. This was kind of a rabbit hole that I ended up going down, again, researching constantly. Especially when I lived in Korea, and then after that we moved to Georgia. My husband at the time was in the military and he was deployed a lot and working a lot, so I had plenty of time to look into those things. Please watch out for part 4. This